Hello everyone, Cindy here with Monarch Mom DIY. Thank you so much for joining me today on my channel where I love to bring you my best tips and tools to inspire you to create beautiful home decor on a budget. Today I'm back with 5 budget fall Dollar Tree DIYs that I'm super excited to share with you. So with all that being said, let's get crafting. For today's first DIY, we're going to make these pumpkin coasters using some of the wood pumpkin ornaments from Dollar Tree, some fabric, and this adhesive cork sheet from Dollar Tree as well. So the first thing I'm going to do before I do anything to the pumpkins is I'm going to cut out a piece of the adhesive cork, and I'm going to stick each of these 3 pumpkins down to the cork to put the cork on the back of each of our coasters. Then I'm just taking my sharp scissors and I'm cutting around the cork. It does stick to the scissors, but that's okay. You just have to pull each piece off of your scissors, and you should easily be able to cut around each of the pumpkins so that the cork is as close to the size and shape of the pumpkin as possible. Next, I have these 3 different fabrics that I got, I believe, from Walmart, and I'm going to put some Mod Podge on the front of each of the pumpkins, and then I'm going to smooth down the piece of fabric. Then once that's dry, we will put another coat of the Mod Podge over the top of the fabric as well. Now, once that Mod Podge is completely dry on the fabric, I'm going to do the same thing I did with the cork. I'm going to trim around the fabric, and then I'm going to cut it right up close to the wood pumpkin. We'll do this on all 3, and then we're going to use our little hand sander to clean up any edges of both the fabric and the adhesive cork. The last thing I'm going to do for each of my 3 coasters is I'm just going to take my jute twine and tie a very tiny little bow. We're going to glue these to the stem of each of our pumpkin coasters. I decided to take a Dollar Tree crate just to put these coasters in. I will most likely make at least 3 more of these coasters. I just only had 3 of the pumpkin ornaments. I need to go get some more, so I'm just taking my antique wax and using the baby wipe method. I'm staining the inside and the outside of this crate. And now I'm just going to glue those little jute bows on the top of each of our pumpkin coasters. And lastly, we'll just dress up our little crate a little bit by wrapping some jute twine around and tying a bow in the front to match the bow on the coasters. If you're stopping by my channel for the first time today, welcome. I'm so glad that you found me. I really hope you'll consider sticking around by hitting that subscribe button. If you are a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support of my channel. I hope everyone will take a second, tap that bell, make sure your notifications are set to all, so YouTube should let you know each time I upload a new video or go live here on my channel. For DIY number 2, we're going to make these Thankful and Blessed mini tags using a pair of tags from Dollar Tree, as well as these clear stickers that are in the sticker and rub-on section. So I'm going to leave the front side black, the chalkboard side, and we're going to paint the back side to now become our front. I am using Waverly's chalk paint in the color Hazelnut, and I'm just going to give each of these one coat. Once the hazelnut chalk paint was dry, I did then take my truffle, the dark brown, and a chippy brush, and I'm just very lightly dry brushing some streaks of the darker brown onto my tags. Next, I'm taking these stickers from Dollar Tree and I'm going to center as best I can each of the words on the tags. Now, these stickers are super sticky, so it did take a little finagling to get them to not stick to my fingers, but to stick to the tags where I wanted them. So take your time and you can get these lined up where you want them. And here's attempt number 2. You're going to see that I do actually rip this word in half, which is okay because it was actually a lot easier to handle just doing the first half of the word and then adding the last 3 letters. Once I had the words down, I did go ahead and add the sunflowers that came with the blessed word and a couple of the little vine pieces that came with thankful. Next, once I had my stickers down, I did go over both tags with matte finish Mod Podge. I did this not necessarily to make sure the stickers stayed on because they were pretty sticky, but I wanted to try to give a uniform finish to the entire tag. And those stickers were pretty shiny, so I was trying to mute down that shiny and just have our tags look nice and finished. I decided I wanted a beaded hanger on my tags, so I just took some jute twine, some black and natural wood beads, and we're going to string this through both of our tags and make a little hanging loop at the top. Before I strung my tags together with the beads, I did put a little bit of glue on the back corner of the thankful. I wanted these to kind of lay like this so that they wouldn't fall in front of each other and you could read the words. Now just stringing the string of beads through the first hole, we'll tie a knot and trim that off. Then we're going to go up with half the beads and then make a little loop for hanging and then have the rest of the beads on the other side. Then we just put the string through the back side and tie it off. And here are our finished tags. For a complete list of all the tools and supplies I've used in today's projects, please open up the description box below the title of this video. There you will find links to my Magnolia Design Co. website, my Amazon storefront, and a list for each project of the tools and supplies I used. For DIY number 3, we're going to make a really cute fall clip sign using 4 of these metal clip frames that I've had in my stash. We're going to use a few of the wooden ornament shapes and some poster sticker letters. So I've had these in my stash for a little while. I love the galvanized metal look. You can see the first thing I'm doing here is removing the easel stands from the back of the frames, and then I am going to get some pliers to remove that other piece that was holding the easel on. Next, taking some hot glue, I'm going to glue the side edges of my frames. I'm going to do 2 together first, and then we'll glue the 2 pairs together once those are good and dry. You could put these in one long column if you wanted, but I decided I wanted it to be a little smaller, and I did them in a rectangle instead. So now I'm putting some more hot glue, and now I'm gluing the 2 pairs of frames together. Now once that's sat for just a couple minutes, I'm going to carefully turn it over, and I'm going to reinforce the back by using some of these small cut pieces of wood that I had in my stash. I decided, since I've used so many pumpkins, I was going to use 2 of the acorns and 2 of the leaf ornaments. So I'm using that same hazelnut chalk paint we used earlier to paint our 2 acorns, and then I'm going to use Waverly's pumpkin orange to paint our leaves. Once those were dry, I took some of the poster sticker letters from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to spell out the word fall on our leaves and acorns. Then, to make sure our stickers don't come off, we're going to put a small layer of matte finish Mod Podge over the entire front of our acorns and leaves. Once that was dry, I took my vintage photo distressing ink from Tim Holtz, and I'm just going around the edges of my 2 leaves and my 2 acorns to give them a little bit more of a worn and dimensional look. Next, we'll just clip those onto the clips on the frames, and I did make a small jute bow for each of the leaves. If you love budget home decor DIY videos like this, I hope you'll give this video a thumbs up. That lets YouTube know that people are watching and enjoying my content, and then they will show it to more and more potential viewers. For DIY number 4, we're going to make over a couple of these square beaded hanger signs from Dollar Tree. I'm using these wood words from Dollar Tree and a couple of napkins from Hobby Lobby, but you can use napkins from wherever. So the first thing I'm doing is removing the backing from both of my signs. We're going to be dressing that up a bit before we add it back into the frame. Next, I'm going to remove the beaded hangers from both of our signs, and I'm going to paint half of the beads orange and leave the other half natural. So now with half of the beads on a skewer, I'm going to paint them with our orange chalk paint called Pumpkin. Now coming back to the frames, I'm going to make these look new by painting them first with Truffle, the dark brown chalk paint. We're going to paint all the way around the frame on the front, the outside, and the inside with this dark brown. Now that our beads are dry, I'm going to string them back on, but I'm going to do neutral and orange, or natural wood and orange, on both of the hangers for the 2 different signs. Now for our wood words, the cutouts we're going to use on our napkin signs, I decided I needed a darker teal, so I'm taking Peacock and I am mixing in some ocean blue. Once I had the color I wanted, I just took a small brush and I'm just going to paint 1 coat on these words. I've got Welcome Fall for one sign and Hello Autumn for the other. Now that the truffle brown is dry on our frames, I'm going to take that same hazelnut and I'm going to dry brush, give some dimension, kind of make this look like wood frames all the way around on the front, the outside, and the inside. Next, I'm going to remove the extra 2 plies from the napkins. The easiest way to do this is to get a couple pieces of Scotch tape and pull apart the front from the other plies. You do want to make sure you get down to just the front layer of the napkin. Otherwise, the Mod Podging will not work correctly the way that we're going to do it. So we are going to need to do a layer of white paint over these words, otherwise they will show through our napkins. So I'm going to just do 1 coat of white Waverly chalk paint. Then we're going to do a layer of Mod Podge and let that dry. And now that our Mod Podge is dry, we can take our napkin and we're gonna lay that down, kind of smooth it out on the dried Mod Podge, put a piece of parchment paper over, and then we're gonna use a warm iron to Mod Podge that onto the backing of this sign. This is the least messy way of doing Mod Podge. You just want to make sure that as you're ironing, you're getting all the way around those edges as well. Once that is cooled and dried, just trim close to the edge of the shape, get that excess napkin off, and then we're going to use our little sander again with a pretty fine grit. I used 400, I believe, to sand off the extra napkin from around our square. Now I did want to seal in those napkins so they wouldn't get wet or ripped. So I'm being very careful, taking some Mod Podge, but with this foam brush, I'm just pouncing on the napkin to get the Mod Podge on there. Avoid brushing in a brushing motion because you don't want to pull up the napkin from the backing. Now for the frames, I could have sprayed these as well, but I decided just to use Mod Podge again. We want to do this because the original surface of these frames was kind of plasticky. I was concerned that the paint would scratch off. So that's all I'm doing with the Mod Podge, is making sure that our 2 layers of paint are not going to get scratched off our frames. So the front of the frame, the outside edge, and the inside. Now that our backings are dry with our napkins, we're going to pop those into the frames and finish putting these together. I love how these are coming together with the napkin backgrounds and the frames painted to look like wood. So I'm just going to take hot glue and I'm going to glue these laser cut words down to the center of each of our signs. Then flipping our signs over, I'm going to use my staple gun and I'm going to reattach the beaded hangers now that we've changed out some of the natural colored beads for some orange. And here's how they finished up. I just love the look of using the napkins and how bright and colorful these turned out. If you're on Facebook, I'd love it if you would follow me on my Monarch Mom DIY Facebook page. I do go live there multiple times during the week, showing different projects than what I'm showing here on YouTube. For this final DIY, I'm going to show you how you can take a bamboo cutting board and a pencil cup from Dollar Tree and make a really cute floral wall pocket. So we're going to take this pencil pocket. It usually comes also with a suction cup, but I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use that same dark teal that I mixed earlier, and I am going to give this plastic pencil pocket 2 coats of this dark teal. Next, for the cutting board, I'm going to use the baby wipe method, and I'm just going to darken up this wood a little bit with our antique wax. I'm just going to do the front and the side edges. Of course, you could do the back as well. Now, if you can't find these bamboo cutting boards at your Dollar Tree, you can use any of the unfinished wood pieces that they have in the crafter square. I drilled a couple holes in my cutting board because I wanted to add a beaded hanger to this as well. I'm just doing some orange beads I had in my stash as well as some natural wood. I didn't show this on camera, but I did do a layer of Mod Podge over the dark teal paint on this pencil pocket because it also was plastic and I didn't want the paint to scratch off. Once that's dry, I'm using hot glue to attach this to our bamboo cutting board. Then we can add a piece of floral foam inside and be able to add some florals. Thanks again so much for joining me tonight. Please, as always, I'd love to hear in the comments which of these projects was your favorite, and we'll see you next time. Take care.